What's up, wave makers? It's me, Mommy Suna.
His hat is so stupid.
Why me poopy in the cookies?
Okay, so I have some things to show you today. I'm sure you've already seen it if you're in the anti-MLM Instagram sphere, because a lot of accounts have talked about this. And obviously you read the title, so you know that we're talking about a book today. This isn't just any old book. This is like pretty much a cult Bible. It's some of the most wild shit I think I've ever seen or read, I guess. But one thing I want to throw in here too is that I actually do have full access to this book. I'm not going to tell you how or who gave it to me, but I do have full access to this book. I'm not going to read it on this channel, but what I'm thinking is I've been talking about starting an anti-MLM ASMR channel. And even though this book is 300 pages long, I'm thinking it might be a good way to kick off the ASMR channel. So, and of course we're gonna have to do it in parts, but by the time this video comes out, I'll have part 1 available out for you guys to watch if you want to really get in and listen to the full bulk of this book, because from what I've read, it's crazy. But again, it's gonna be in the ASMR style. I'm not gonna be whispering or anything like that. No, I'm not gonna be doing that. I held a poll and you guys said that for the most part you just like the kind of low speaking, like storytelling vibes kind of thing, so I'm just gonna be doing that. If that doesn't bother you, feel free to check out that video and subscribe to my new ASMR channel. I don't know how active it's gonna be, but that's my new project for now. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a fun way to kick stuff off over there. So I did have this Zoom call lined up to go through with you guys, and then I went to pick it out this morning and it has been privated. So I think all the attention that this book was getting is making the guy who wrote it go into hyperdrive, like kind of freaking out and trying to get rid of all the evidence. And I'm really upset about it, you guys. Actually, you know what? There was one clip. I have to see if I can find it. One person in a anti-MLM group chat that I'm in, where we just kind of dump a bunch of evidence of stuff going on, someone screen recorded like 5 seconds of it, and I think it perfectly describes the energy that was going on, and it's the only clip of the Zoom call I have left. I have to see if I can find it.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Oh my god, okay, I actually found it. Alright, so it's 21 seconds long, and this is the only part of the Zoom call we'll ever see again. So here we go.
Quick question. Where you get bit by a mosquito, does that also speak?
Well, I believe so.
Okay.
I tell you. I mean, so I'll give you a sense of this. So I had somebody on tour with me, a good brother, it wasn't very world wise at all.
And that's it. And we're gonna see this guy later, because the Zoom call that I do have to go through with you guys today, that's the author, that guy who did the really bad racist ass Indian accent. She also, the person who asked the question, said, when you get bit by a mosquito, does that part also speak? This guy is wackadoodle, okay? Anyway, I'm really upset. Oh, also, yeah, it was called Bookie Lookie. Oh, I'm so upset. I'm so upset. I mean, I checked the Wayback Machine and everything, guys, and it is just not there. So it's a travesty, really, that we don't get more of that. But what we see here really lines up with this spiritual, whatever you want to call it. We can start here though. So I think when this all started, this was kind of the Instagram story that was being passed around. Now this is an ex-Young Living distributor. I think she was previously like a Royal Crown Diamond or something like that. She had left a few months ago and one day received this package of this book. You'll see real quick that she's like a super duper Christian woman, like almost to the point where I'm like, she's got to be in some weird sect of Christianity that's like also a cult, but like the way she talks about it. But I don't want to make fun of her for that, because the book really is a problem. I don't think it's a problem in the way that she talks about it, but it's just an interesting, I don't know. So this is how it surfaced.
Hi friends, if you have been around our page for very long, you know that we worked with Young Living essential oils for about 7 years. We still are huge fans of essential oils. We know exactly how they work and what they do and what they did for our health. We worked with Young Living. We got to basically the second to the top rank with Young Living. And after getting to that like top rank of diamond, you get to see a little bit behind the curtain. And you get to see a little bit more behind corporate and things, the way things are run. And after a little while, we started to see that this company that we had, really worked with and really believed in was not what we had signed up for. It was something just different, and we couldn't really pinpoint it. We heard some things and we saw some things that didn't agree with our spirit, but it was just something we just knew something. We knew something had changed, and we prayed really hard about it, and we walked away. We resigned our account with Young Living 5 months ago. We resigned our checks, everything. And that was a big decision for our family because it was a huge part of our income, but we knew that the Lord was calling us out of that. Yesterday evening, I got something in the mail, this book, from Young Living, and it is written by their RCD, a Royal Crown Diamond. The foreword is by CEO and Mary Young. She's the CEO. It says, "To Dear Diamonds." This book is honestly one of the darkest, most demonic books that I've ever had in my house. I cannot wait to get rid of it, but I knew that I had to share this.
Real quick, she's like, it's one of the most demonic books I've ever had in my house. Like, you've had more than one, ma'am? It's really interesting, and I guess it's just, that's the religious mindset she's in, but to call this particular book demonic, I think is a stretch. Who am I to judge what she thinks is demonic, right? I just don't see how you can tie any of this in with, like, literal demons, but okay. She starts crying.
The things that they're saying for people to do, basically a seance with oils, things that they are wanting. Hang on. Forget it. There's no way I'm going to get through this without tearing up. One of the quotes that you're supposed to say as you put these oils on you, and I quote, "I am the resurrection and the life of my lineage." There is nothing more false than that, than taking Jesus out of it and putting yourself in there and putting yourself as Jesus. That's just so dark and demonic. And believers, you have to know that this is written in black and white and handed down to people. You're supposed to hand this down to your team and put this in their households, and know that this kind of stuff is a slow trickle. You let this into your house and it will completely ruin you. Another one is so false as well. Jesus taught the use of oils to the disciples, not the masses. Jesus didn't do that, and the fact that his name is in this book makes me it's really bad. And another one is I am sovereign in my God self. So we are little gods. Again, so false. Another one is I am the brilliant mind of my creator. So we are God's mind. And I don't know what the founder of Target, their beliefs are, or Anthropology, or any of my favorite stores. But I know that if they sent me a book like this, it would be the very last second that I ever spent a dime with them. Young Living, none of their products will ever be in our house ever again. And I just want you to know that, like, leaders, you got this book. And now this is in your hands. And so if you hide this from your team, you are condoning this behavior. This is going to be at your conventions. This is going to be everything that you do with Young Living. And if you do condone it, that you are handing down this spiritual warfare to everyone in your team. This is so much bigger than money. This is so much bigger than the day-to-day life. This is eternal significance that you have in your hands, and you've got to rise up and stand up and run from this. There's no amount of money that should keep you in bondage to this company with this as a leader.
That was her speech. And, it'd be really easy to make fun of the way she reacts about it, but, like, it is kind of upsetting to see someone so shook up by something like this, even though most of us would probably look at this and be like, oh my god, she's overreacting so hard. But she's clearly, like, upset about this, so it sucks. Anyway, let me reiterate this point here, and I don't think I really went in on this, as she just kind of mentioned it quickly, but this book was written by one of their Royal Crown Diamonds, so not somebody who is actually involved with Young Living, but they got Mary Young, the CEO, to write an insert, to write the foreword for this book. So it's clearly endorsed by her. It might as well be released by Young Living itself, She posts a few screenshots of the book, so we can read through this. And first of all, the first screenshot she posts here is really upsetting because it starts off calling Gary Young Dr. D. Gary Young. Gary Young was never a doctor. He actually went to prison for practicing medicine without a license. He literally uses his first name, which is Donald. He uses D in front of Gary Young. Gary is his middle name because it confuses people. I say all this as if he's still alive. This is the mindset that he was in. He would use D in front of Gary Young because it looked like doctor and it would confuse people into thinking he was a doctor. But no, the D does not stand for doctor. Now, the person who wrote this book just straight up threw doctor in there, never was a doctor. Dr. D. Gary Young, ND, aromatologist and founder of Young Living Essential Oils, taught me the science, application, farming of the world of aromatherapy and essential oils. Gary said, essential oils are the heartbeat of the planet kingdom. Sorry, this is like really hard to read. It's super small. And when we really understand that, we realize this heartbeat is the energy that was created to sustain life. The world of essential oils is a reawakening of our planet, and if it is not respected and treated kindly, the knowledge that can come through will be lost and will never surface again. The pure intelligence of essential oils may be the only tool that we can reach into the deep recesses of our brain, cross over the chemical barriers, and open the hidden channels of our mind, allowing access to greater knowledge and discernment in reaching our highest potential to become more Christ-like, to communicate without speaking, to focus our thinking, and to be able to manifest our thoughts into reality. We want to raise our frequency so we can heal ourselves and then help others heal themselves. I mean, what? Why? Okay, first of all, what does Jesus have to do with any of this? Jesus definitely never taught that essential oils are the heartbeat of the planet kingdom, whatever the fuck that means. The world of essential oils is a reawakening of our planet. Like, who said that? Definitely not Jesus. So reading all this and then seeing, you know, Christ thrown into this, like, I guess I can see why someone who loves Jesus might be super uncomfortable with this. The next screenshot she posts says, Marion taught me in 1976. I don't know who Marion is. Essential oil is the essence of the marriage of the earth and the sun through photosynthesis. The human body is made up of many bodies, not just physical. Thought forms attach at different parts of the body. Thought forms have short-circuited our best efforts. What? Oils protect from all kinds of friction, mechanical, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Oils keep the parts from rubbing against each other. Yes, thank you. Like, physically, I think we all know that. The barriers, doors, or chakras have 7 major openings which connect to the endocrine system. Your endocrine system is like a part of your physical body. I thought the chakra was like your spiritual body, right? Like, how do they connect if they're two different anyway? Chakras are transformers like electricity. Chakras, the gate of feelings, are the only port of entry or exit of our thought forms. Reactive patterns make prison doors of our chakras. Oils loosen the hinges. What the fuck am I reading? Oils open the gates, energy centers or chakras of our bodies that only open from the inside. Resentment, jealousy, anger, fear, guilt, blame, shame, lust, or whatever. Or whatever. The most sainted of us have hidden prides, pleasures, fears, and thought forms to redeem or trade in on good God energy. We require the blocks taken out, transformed, and our good energy redeemed, unlocked, and freely expressed. We have created these blocks. We can transform them. Oils help reverse old thought forms, patterns, and habits of thought, allowing us to upgrade the pattern into our highest choice. Oils polarize or reverse the vortex of thought forms and physical conditions from negative to positive polarity. Like a negative whirlwind or whirlpool, they flip into our life-giving spin where we add our decrees and imagination of our new choices. Does anyone else feel like none of this makes sense? Like, these sentences are not doing anything for me here. The oils help the thought forms reverse the counterclockwise spin into a life-giving clockwise vortex as we reclaim our newly qualified energy with creativity and love. The oils are volatile and move freely in the unseen finer bodies or aura. Yeah, so I mean, what I'm gathering is that this dude is just straight up making stuff up and putting it in a book. According to this book, I am is not God. We are I am. Hard no. I don't know what any of that means. I'm sure someone in the comments will talk about it. Explore your reversals and upgrades fully and discover what raises you into your all new self. Commit to being made all new. Note, I am comes from within. The oils are lubricating the memory of light, sunlight, and restoration of light in us. I am. What? Sir, he talks about upgrades like as if we're fucking robots or some shit. Like we need a software upgrade. What does this have to do with essential oils? I don't know. If you have a big head, a wide face, it means that you allow your genius to shine? Like what? Okay. Administrative nose is a nose that hooks down. Explore if this person is good at managing others. Eyes wide apart. Check for a wide perspective of life. Do they see the big picture? Are they relaxed about the details so much they may get missed? Do they take in a large scope of understanding and concept? Vertical forehead. Well, as opposed to a horizontal one. Subjective. May require step-by-step sequential information. They like to know the whole process to support full understanding. I don't know why she shared this. I don't see anything to do with God in here that would freak her out. This just seems to be like you're judging people based on the way they look and applying it to, I guess, the way their mind works, which is really odd. I am made all new. I move forward with grace and ease. Oh yeah, okay, so I think these must be what she was talking about, like the kind of affirmations or whatever you have to say out loud while you're applying whatever these oils are. I reclaim my spiritual attunement and alignment for my highest good. I am the resurrection in the life of my lineage. And also, I think we'll see in the Zoom that we're gonna watch here, but I'm pretty sure this guy also like identifies as Christian, like he talks about God. So yeah, it is pretty odd that he would put all this in a book and then like relate the two because they seem to really contradict each other. I think his idea is that he's trying to stitch the two together to be like, oh yeah, no, God works with our spiritual chakras and shit, like it's all the same, everything is the same. That's one way to really scare off Christians, dude. I receive directly from my divine mother all I require in my creative expression. Who's that, Mary? Like, I don't what are you talking about? But yeah, and she shared this front page, I guess, awakening your health and wealth. How do you awaken your wealth? Someone teach me how to awaken my wealth. Oh, I have to just go buy essential oils and like say some mantras and shit while I apply them, and then we're good. In 7 revealing steps. I guess there's someone with a PhD in here too. I'd be interested to look her up. MarcellaVonHarding.com. She's got fucking lavender. Look at this. She's got sprigs of lavender like right there on her website. What's this? Why Young Living? Oh, I mean, straight up just one of these, just like we saw with the doTERRA Zoom call I shared a few weeks ago. Someone who is using their, I guess, PhD as like a status within the company. An internationally recognized author by who, dude? Okay, involved with MLMs since the 1980s. Certifications in nutrition, iridology, what is that? Reiki, aromatherapy, master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, master practitioner of hypnotherapy, PhD in psychoneurology and integrative medicine. Where did she go to school though, you know? She's a Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living, of course she is. One world.
It's all interconnected. You know, your soul, your spirit, what you eat.
I knew I was holding in my hand the moment I smelled the product. And especially when I started applying, I saw difference immediately.
More and more people are becoming aware that there's an alternative way of doing things. And when we can help people with that message, then that's the real joy.
My first oil of choice was frankincense. And that began...
I mean, so was Jesus. At least he talked about using frankincense, like the plant, I guess, in the Bible. I wonder why she chose frankincense.
On a whole new education level for me, because these oils are so much more powerful than herbs.
I mean, they're very concentrated. This is so annoying.
I was working with advanced cancer patients. When I discovered Young Living, the quality was so far beyond anything, and the results were the type of miracles that the books talked about.
We wanted to be able to offer the best tools for them to transcend the body, mind, and spirit alignment And we found that the essential oils of Young Living were the cleanest frequencies and were energy first before biochemistry.
I'm incredibly sensitive to energies, and I knew that I was having something special.
So there was a moment in my life that changed me forever, and that's when I gave birth to my little girl. And it was really touch and go. We had a lot of trauma with Courtney's birth. We thought we were like really doing okay with that, and then at 7 months, she literally died in my husband's arms. And we were rushed to the hospital and lived in critical care for about 12 days. And Jim and I really believe that God gave her back to us. Well, that inspired me and put me on a path that changed my life forever.
Listen, that's fucking heartbreaking, and, you know, I'm glad that their baby pulled through and that she's like an adult now and stuff, but talk about, you know, preying on people's trauma.
And I met a woman that is one of my dearest friends in the world, and that's Mary. And Mary had called me and said, I think that there's some products here that could make a difference for...
Oh, okay. Now it's coming together. See, I could have researched this before, but no, it's just fun that we're finding this out together. So one of the co-authors, I guess, the person with the PhD who is listed in the credits of this book is one of her very best friends, Mary Young. Funny how she's also a Royal Crown Diamond. How did that happen? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If you're so close with the fucking CEO, and I mean, presumably her now passed away husband, did she just get in early? Were they like buddy and they were like, hey, we're gonna start selling these oils as multi-level marketing. Do you want to be like the first distributor? Here you go. Getting in at the right time. Timing is everything in MLM, so it could be that. But also, I mean, no fucking wonder Mary's listed as writing a foreword in this book also. They're buddies. They're just buddies. And it really speaks to the kind of woo-woo shit that Young Living is built upon.
And that started me on a whole new path, a whole new life, a very abundant life with Young Living.
One endless journey. Look at us, we're rafting. Whee! Did you see that guy?
I can tell you that there is nothing else in the world that gives me more satisfaction to see somebody improving their life, somebody healing completely.
It's about sharing, and it's about that vision, and it's about helping people and making a difference in people's lives.
Is that Gare Bear? That must be Gare Bear.
I'm passionate about being associated with a company that the integrity is number one. The products are unsurpassed. And I think the biggest joy is watching the shift in the spirituality and the calmness and the quietness that happens within individuals that may be taking it simply for a headache.
My eureka moment came many, many years after when I realized what a phenomenal business that I actually had created in just sharing from my heart the oils and the difference that the oils made for my daughter.
It's a joy to know that there are so many people from so many different walks of life, and they really, really do care about their brothers and sisters on this planet.
Because I've been doing this for nearly 30 years, I know the right time. We in Young Living know how critical it is to produce the best and the finest quality oil in the world.
Whoa! Whoa! That ended with a bang there. One world leader? Oh. The oils just run the entire fucking planet, huh? Anyway, wow. I mean, I do want to know where she got her education. Here's her LinkedIn. Here we go. Bjorn University. Oh my god. It's committed to providing a natural, organic approach to education. So it's bullshit then. Is it even accredited? Like, literally first thing on their website, become a spirit, mind, body therapist. Like, okay. I think that says all that we need to know about who this Marcella von Harding person is. Makes me wonder wonder if she has an active medical license, but of course she is clearly, very clearly one of these people who uses their PhD as a status symbol in their multi-level marketing company because it looks really nice. It looks like something that people want to latch onto and go, well, this lady has a PhD and she said this. Yeah, this lady is fucking out of her mind, dude. Anyway, so now we know a little bit about her. Now, the first author here, Robert Tennyson Stevens, he goes by Bob. This is an interview with him when he's talking about the book that we can watch together. The same guy I showed you earlier who made fun of people with an Indian accent. Just an absolute character. I don't know who these other two people are. I'm assuming she's also with Young Living. I don't know. But anyway, sure, let's press play, watch it together. I haven't watched this whole thing. I probably only watched like 15 minutes of it, but it's not as good as the Zoom call I wanted to share with you guys before, but it'll have to suffice. At least we can really get an understanding. And I actually think I have to skip through this a little bit because I think for the first like 5 minutes, like nothing happens here. They're just, what are they looking at? Why are they both looking down at the same thing? There's our boy. There's Bob.
Hi, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting a lot of this out, just so you guys know. It's a lot of this. You know, I think why this video itself is still live up on YouTube and the other one that I wanted to show you guys got taken down is because this one is not on his own YouTube channel. This is on the people who are conducting the interview, that woman's YouTube channel. So he didn't have the permissions to go and private it. Otherwise, I really think this would be privated too. God, I'm still so upset though.
Bob is an author and coach, and he's a pioneer in the influence of verbal language, body language, emotions, and imagination on activating and enjoying our dreams. I have coached individually with Bob. I have listened to most of his CDs. We've taken his in-person trainings, and he has had the knowledge and the wisdom that he has received has had a tremendous impact on our marriage, our family, our careers, our community. And we've done all the trainings, right? We've done trainings with all the people.
Received from who though? God? Like,
so we are very, very grateful for you, Bob.
Awesome. I love it.
So I was so excited. You gave me you sent me the book in advance to read. And so I got a wonderful sneak preview, and I was so excited to see how you integrated Young Living essential oils and supplements.
Yes.
Very, very, very cool. So how is this, my first question is, why a new book now? What did you hear? What was your motivation and insight into doing this?
I love these kind of questions like, well, basically, no, just kidding. So, well, I mean, this is it's a very short project, about 50 years, 50-year project. And I mean, really, truly, I've been doing this 50 some years now. So, when I like conscious language, like when I shared that, I think 08 is when the book came out, somewhere in 08. And in 1968 is when I started my study in language. So 68 to 08, well, that's pretty quick. Anyway, but I've been teaching about it forever. So my word, and we're still tweaking the title a bit, but scripturally, not religion, just law, quantum physics book. That's why I use it. I love it. And that's why I use it. The word becomes flesh. Well, I realize my word becomes flesh. My word made flesh is really the title of the book. And the reason is, and Charnel would be a good person to interview on this thing. So in my experience, being a life coach and health coach and reading eyes for all these decades, people would come into me and they would have a list of 15 things to fix. And I would go, whatever, we don't need those. Let me interact with you for a little bit. Okay. And I mean, back then, compared to where I am now, I would say it would be darkness and light comparatively. But still, what started happening for me is I started to hear that people were agreeing or speaking into their limited state without a clue that they were doing that. Like somebody has hearing challenges and they hate hearing somebody say something. Well, if you hate hearing, the subconscious is listening, decree a thing and it shall be established unto you, like that idea.
Dude, that almost felt like a dig at like, well, you don't want to listen? You have a hard time listening? You know what kind of vibes I get from this guy? Very Mark St. Ange, the CEO of the former company, Black Oxygen Organics. In the same way, this guy is speaking with a lot of conviction. He believes everything that he's saying, and he's hardly even really said anything yet. I get the feeling it's about to get really bad, but what he's teaching is just like not a thing. Listen, listen, if you want to believe in like chakras and vibrations and energies and what have you and auras and stuff, like that's cool. And quite frankly, like I like the idea of all that stuff, but like I can't bring my mind to agree with it and like practice it and believe in it because there's just not substantial evidence, I guess. So like my logical mind just kind of throws it out. So I'm not like hating on anybody who believes in all that, but this dude is using Young Living, a fucking MLM, to shill to that audience. And I think it's interesting because Young Living kind of started as, you know, it's a faith-based organization. And while it sounds like he's kind of still in the whole faith thing, it sounds like he found the untapped market that he could also shill these oils to, which are the hippy-dippy, naturopath, those kind of people. So, I mean, it might be a smart business move, but like ethically, it's pretty messed up, especially in a time right now where people are desperate to just get better. But it sounds like he kind of ran his own practice, just like Mark St. Ange was saying. He's like, well, people come in to see me and da-da-da-da. It's like, where were you practicing this? Do you have a license? Is this considered medical treatment? Like, what is this? I don't know. You might be asking yourself, you may have already commented, like, can we report this guy? Who do we report this guy to? Who do we report this book to? Do we report it to the FTC? Maybe. I don't know. Can you report books to the FTC? I guess so, right? I always leave a link to how to report to the FTC down below. So I'll leave all that down below if you guys want to, but I'm not really sure how that works when it comes to like a book like this. But anyway.
By your words, you shall be justified. By your words, you shall be condemned. That kind of stuff. So for me, I'm always going, well, I'm going to teach everybody conscious language so they can speak what they choose versus what they hate or want or don't like, or, you know, like if somebody says, I hope that person doesn't come over here, they just invited that person to come over here. I mean, that's all there is to it.
The person who is responding to another person's wishes about their own personal space, if they're responding to it in that way, being like, I'm gonna go push this person's boundary, well, that's on them. They need to respect other people's boundaries, you know? I fail to see how essential oils can help with that, but all right.
So conscious language wakes people up to conscious choice, and conscious choice wakes people up to, in my system, imagining from your choice instead of trying to figure out how to get it. So with all that in my awareness and sharing and all that stuff, I started to realize that body language, this conversation, we're even right now, like all of us, if we knew how every person who's watching this would know everything about the three of us already by just being with us. The conscious mind might go, well, I don't know. But we're all having a conversation.
I mean, honestly, like, I think I can pick up a lot of things about this person and the two people interviewing him just by listening to this conversation. I think I have a pretty good idea of what kind of people these guys are, you know? I could probably make a lot of correct guesses based on my observations of what I'm seeing right now. He's, like, manipulating his own sense of reality to fit what he wants because, like, that's totally how reality works. I guess, yeah, it's just, like, the whole manifesting thing. That doesn't work, guys. You can't just manifest things into existence. But what do I know? I don't have Young Living essential oils in my house, so that's why I think it's impossible, right?
And so somehow, miraculously, I woke up to there's a conversation going on. And just make it real simple. A woman was in a class, I had about 60 people. I'm on a little riser, and she's in the back row, so most people can't see her. And she was talking about something with her mom and the way her mom saw her, and she touches her left cheek. And I wouldn't even have noticed that, but about 60% of the people touched their left cheek at the same time. And I went, what was that?
That was a glitch in the Matrix, my guy. That wasn't chakras, that wasn't God or Jesus or auras or energy. That was literally a glitch in the Matrix. We're definitely in a simulation, but go on, sir. No, seriously, in all seriousness, I am so much more willing to admit that we all live in some kind of Matrix simulation situation here. Significantly more than I would believe in any of the weird shit that they're talking about here. Like, logically, it would make more sense to me.
I didn't say anything, but inside I started going, I'm going to start taking a class while I'm sharing a class.
Oh, so the teacher becomes the student.
Forward, we're all in a conversation. And the way I see it, this is a big picture, so forgive me ahead of time, but I'll show you. So I believe we're all eternal beings of light. That's my view. And to come to Earth, we had to go through this holodeck of God that says, we had better confuse their language, for there is not anything they cannot do. And we've had a confused language to come here, eternal being of light, and we come here with right, wrong, good, bad, hot, cold. So if I go into right or wrong or good or bad, I fall from union or grace and become embarrassed, excuse me, but that's the word, embarrassed, and have to figure out what to do to hide my embarrassment.
Why is he saying it like that? I'm embarrassed listening to this shit, man.
Right, wrong, shame,
And they're
blame,
over there
guilt,
like,
all that kind of stuff. So
is he trying to suggest that the whole like Tower of Babel thing, God did that because if we all spoke each other's languages, we would all be able to have some kind of like extended knowledge on the universe or something, just because we all can't speak each other's language? It like holds us back from being our most intelligent selves? I don't think that's what it was, because like you can learn other languages. You're not stuck only knowing one language.
Wow. So again, if we come to Earth, E-A-R-T, H-E-A-R-T, H-E-A-R-T, maybe there's heart here. So to come to Earth, we forget who we are. We've got a confused language.
But that doesn't work in every language. It only works in English. Earth and heart have the same letters. Yeah, sure. In English.
It's called Babel. We had better confuse their language, for there is not anything they cannot do. All right, got that hooked up. And I realize now, I'm in the middle. We're all in the middle of remembering the language of our heart, which is not a language of right and wrong, which separates. It's a language of love. And so I make up the reason we have Earth experience is to master creating with love versus creating with good or evil, right or wrong. So and then with that in mind, all this health stuff going on, it's pretty much a good time to bring up some, I'll give you another example. Forgive me, I'm on a roll. All right, so viruses.
Clearly.
A virus is not alive. A virus is like an RNA or RNA, DNA or DNA, whichever, encoded thing that it has to have agreement in our DNA to work. So I've called this the Babel virus now for 50 years. And I'm not saying all viruses are bad, but I'm just simply saying if I have, I want, I can't, I need, I feel like they never, any of that kind of stuff, maybe that's what this virus thing is engaging to resurrect out of our planet.
They're like, Is he talking about the C word? Is that what he's talking about? The planet is using that to invoke some kind of like, what the fuck? I look at stuff like this and I'm like, you are thinking way too deeply into this. You have dug yourself so deep into a hole, and now you need to figure out how to dig yourself out, because he's clearly, very clearly making stuff up in his mind and then somehow coming around to making himself actually believe it, I'm pretty sure. How odd. It's just so strange. Because he's making this stuff up, right? He's like, I've called it the Babel virus for blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're the only one who does that. You're probably the only person who thinks that Earth and heart have a relation, because somehow in the English language they just have the same letters, so therefore the earth and heart are two things. And it's a very surface level way of thinking, but then he like convolutes it. He'll take one little thought, so the earth and heart thing, and then go off on some huge tangent about it that makes no fucking sense. But he came up with that just because the letters are the same. Sir?
So all things have a purpose under heaven. So I add that to it. So when I realized instead of traveling 10 months out of the year, I'm going to be home doing my online university, maybe now's the time to write the book. Well, I didn't realize the book was going to write me, and that it was going to be first, I already knew the body language piece and a lot of it and the reversals that are available. But when I put it together, as I put it together through the languaging and all the other pieces, I had 5 steps originally. And then I went, I get to bring Young Living essential oils into it. I've been studying essential oils since 1968. They've been, active in my system. My mentor, if I share the book today, I'll share some of what she gave me, which is stellar, Marian Jager. And anyway, it's like, all right, the essential oil, why so important? First, only Young Living. That's the only one I can even talk about.
Why is it so important that it's only Young Living? Because you're making a paycheck off of it, dude. Because the person you wrote this book with is BFFs with Mary Young. How about that? Okay, just like the lady said at the beginning of this video, you're sending this book, this demonic book, to all the diamonds in the company, which obviously makes up a small chunk of all the people in Young Living, but they're going to take this free book that they were sent. Pop-Tart, you're here. Oh, people will be so happy. Hi. Oh, she knows you missed her. Do you want to come say hi? Here she is. Love you so much. You gotta say hi to your loves, to your fans. Thank you. Anyway, what were you talking about? I just got distracted by cats, as I always do. Damn it, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Okay, so all the diamonds get this, and of course, it's this free book. They're gonna pass it out, pass on that knowledge that is endorsed by Mary Young, their CEO, their Lord and Savior. Well, Gary Young is Lord and Savior. She's like the wife of the Lord and Savior. Endorsed by their holiness. So, of course, they're gonna take part of what they say in that book and divide it between their teams, and who benefits from that? This guy. Especially because the book, if you go buy it online, if you weren't one of the lucky people who got it sent to you, it's $80. Yeah, 80 freaking doll hairs for this bullshittery.
Second of all, it's the only one seed to seal and etc. All Gary and Mary Young, all that stuff. And there's every reason.
Gary and Mary Young, yeah, that's the reason that we choose Young Living is because of Gary and Mary Young. That's basically like saying that they are higher than anyone else, you know? They have some sort of divinity over other people. They are the end all be all. They're the rulers. And Gary Young essentially wrote the essential oil Bible. Forget what his book was called, but yeah, he has a whole book about essential oils that these people just fucking, it's literally like their Bible. You know, for someone who was in Young Living for 7 years, like that lady at the beginning of this video was saying, it's really interesting to me that she didn't see the demonic aspects of it, I guess, until she was like high up. She had been in there for 7 years. It's like, I mean, I've never been in Young Living and I can definitely see a lot of faith manipulation and misinformation, disinformation. Like, why did it take you 7 years to see all that? I don't know.
For that. And I'm not making it small. I'm just saying we all know that. So now the essential oil, like antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. No, it's not. Oils are not anti-anything. They're they're for life. So you take that piece of the puzzle and go, oh, wait, we don't have to go compliant. You can't talk about that. You don't need to. Well, like if I put on an essential oil, I got one right here. Got it. If I put on an essential oil, it is speeding me up into it's sunlight through photosynthesis into the blood of the plant. Forgive me for being so chatty, but anyway. So again, sunlight through photosynthesis, pure light through the personality, divine, God created, Mother Nature, all that stuff, into a very frequency as a blessing for every one of us, very specific. And thank you, Gary, so much for what you've done for us.
Okay, but Gary didn't invent essential oils though. But he's praising Gary right now, like as if he is Jesus, right? When like most of these people are like, oh yeah, there were essential oils in the Bible. We use essential oils because Jesus used them. No, he's literally like, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary, for this. And also, does he think we're plants? When you put on an essential oil, you are now in photosynthesis. Like, no, humans don't work like that, sir. And we're not plants.
So now every step I bring in conscious nutrition, lifestyle, raw foods, all that kind of stuff, and essential oils, because essential oils don't fix what's wrong. They restore life. Mm-hmm. And that restoring of life is the deal. So now when I realize I'm going to bring Young Living into this because it's what I love and what I use on it daily. I've been doing that longer than Gary was into essential oils. I mean, that's how long, not that I'm anywhere, like I'm 1 bazillionth% of what the guy's got as far as the genius he's given us. And I got something that he didn't even have. And that's what my mentor brought to me, which is in the book.
He's like the second coming of Gary Young, dude. This guy is the king of kings, is who he is.
So again, the whole idea is once we get the oils like a flame burns up. All flames burn up. The essential oils, got it? There's frankincense. They're ethereal. They're raising us up. Into what is the question? So, your greatest weakness should be your greatest strength. That might be important.
He just did it again. Why does he do that? Why are you doing that, sir? I cannot stand this man. Again, I get Mark St. Ange vibes, but like this is Mark St. Ange, except like extremely full of himself. Like you can tell this man thinks that he is the second coming of Christ. Like he thinks very highly of himself. And while it's great to have confidence in yourself and stuff, pal, not like this. This is obnoxious. This is unsettling. It makes me uncomfortable with how confident you are in the bullshit you're spewing, Bob.
Again, the whole idea, our body is telling a story. So if I have a symptom and I try to fix or treat or adjust the symptom, without adjusting causation, I've made a major error. I'm not, and this, what I love about this, 20 years ago, I would have been covertly going, yes, it's not modality specific, but inside I would be going, you have to do my one. I'm not even at that anymore. I realize God can work through anything and works through everything. And when we bring essential oils into it, they are the lifting and restoring into what though? That's what the book is about, is what does this signal turn into? So instead of, like, no matter what the modality, the whole system is, let's find the thought, word, and emotional patterns involved in any creation, bring it up, understand it, and love it, and then reverse the pattern. Say, reverse, revise, receive, rename.
Say a bunch of words that sound the same really fast, one after the other, and people will just think you know what you're talking about. Is that what that just was?
And so the whole book is a series of steps, 7 steps, which works. I mean, you know, Dr. Charnel, Wolverton Seon, who had something going on in her body, which most people would say was not good at all. And she was working on it for like 3 or 4 months. She came to my class, studied the eyes. I saw her eyes when her photos were up on the big screen. 4 little blue spots in the white of the eye, the sclera. And I said, did you ever have 4 death wishes or not want to be here anymore? And when she tells the story, it's much better than when she was live. And because yeah. She goes, if you knew what I was doing, you wouldn't ask me that question. But when she tells the story, it's hilarious.
There's nothing hilarious about someone wanting to unalive themselves. Ha ha ha, what a joyous story. What a good, I know this really funny story. It's hilarious. So strange.
And so anyway, she was like, whatever. So when I got done, I walked over and I said, all right, Charnel. And so tissue degeneration, I'll leave it at that. Whatever, name anything, I'll just leave it at that. Is I've got to, with the feeling of I can't. And so I said, Charnel, just say I can and I am. And she goes, not to me, but in the story, right? Like words are going to make a difference here. She goes, whatever. Gag me with a spoon, just kidding, but I can't.
Did he just say gag me with a spoon? Oh, he's gross. He's gross. I don't like it. He obviously believes that words make a difference here, that mantras and like repeating things to yourself, affirmations are going to make a difference. It's going to help you manifest. And it's like, it's just not a thing, dude.
I said, say it again. I can and whatever. I am. Say it again. I can. She wasn't in it. I said, Charnel, because she's been trained in all this stuff. Charnel, put your me into it. She goes, oh, I can and I am. Say it again. I can and I am. Say it again. I can and I am. About the 3rd or 4th time, she goes, I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. She went and passed stuff that she'd been working on.
She went and took a shit. If you're ever feeling a little bit backed up, here's the affirmation. Here's the mantra you have to repeat to yourself. I can, I am. He said it very nicely. She went and passed some things. No, she took a shit. Hey, sir, she took a shit. Be right back. What the fuck? Just using your words and it makes you take a dump. I can't.
The terrain of her body was already ready to go, but she hadn't claimed her victory yet. So this book is all about walking new. Let the weak man say, I am strong. That's the totality of the law of reversal. So in essence, I bring all this into a system where somebody can, it could be wealth, it could be health, it could be relationship, it could be anything. And body language is involved. And there's a static state, which is non-moving, like pain somewhere, that's static. But the system, that's why having a coach is really a good idea, or sit in front of a mirror and watch yourself do all this stuff because you'll tell the story. And the minute we ask the right question, which is what the book is all about, how do I ask the question, the answer of which resolves the state? Instead of why am I screwing up because you're a screw up? No, what is it going to take for me to be consistently successful in this situation? So the question is all about whatever the body signal or life repeating pattern, whatever it is, most of us look at it as a fact. It is a reflex or a mirror image or a symptom, not a cause, of a cause. So every signal in the body, every scream in the body, or every scream in relationship is asking us to change something. This book is all about find the pattern and reverse it. And so even essential oils, when I went through with Marcella von Harding, and she dug deep into all her experiences with Gary and went deep and researched and researched and researched. That was such an education for me. Glorious, glorious to find why these things were put together. And then for me, all right, we're not going to quite mess with that. We're going to ask a question, and then we're going to show the reversal, the decree of how to resurrect the pattern. That's what happened with Charnel. Dr. Charnel is, she said, I can and I am. So I've got to and I can't stand, I can and I am. And her body sloughed off all that stuff in 5 minutes. So again, what it takes feeling the meaning in each word deeply enough. And finding a phrase that reverses, like, let the weak man say, I am strong. So the reason this book is here is it was time, and it was ready. But again, adding Young Living to it, first it was for me, because I got to get just an education of a lifetime, truly. I mean, golly, Vaughn sometimes want to research that, come back, and she would just give me, besides all of her own time with Gary and all the other stuff, she would deeply find out what this oil does, what the purpose of this, the blend of this, the supplements and all that.
But see, they wouldn't do that with actual science. None of it's real. Oh, she would just take the time, take every single oil and find out what every single oil does. Okay, find out how. Talk to it. Like, let it speak to you and tell you what it wants to do. Like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Someone tell these people it doesn't work like that.
I mean, I must have changed my Young Living order like 10 times in that month of writing the book. I mean, literally, it's like, no, I got to add that. I got to add that. Because I understood at that point an entirely different restoring of something for me. Anyway, so I hope that answers your question. It was a very long one.
Well, I also love, you don't just talk about the oils, you also talk about the supplements, Young Living supplements.
Right. So we talk about singles, the blends. So singles were a lot more challenging. Blends are kind of in the name, if you know what I mean. Like, but the supplements, again, to hear why Gary built that supplement and the purpose of it, and then to be able to not go, well, this is going to be heal whatever's wrong with you.
Digestion, or yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no. It's going to be restoring. And so most people, well, I'm working on adjusting a pain I have. Well, wait a minute. That pain is asking you to restore some enthusiasm. It's, and so if I just manage my pain, wow, why? Why would you manage pain when your body is asking you to have some miracle agreed to and walked in and believed in?
I don't think that's what our bodies are asking for. Usually they're asking for some sort of actual like medical treatment that's like backed by science. I don't know, do you have a pain in your body? A lot of times physical therapy can help with that. And that gets to the root of a lot of problems. Sometimes things just need to be fixed. And you can't do that shit by talking to an essential oil and then eating it or whatever the fuck, rubbing it on your temples.
The book is all about using the best of the best of the best and letting our body tell a story that we go, oh, and this works every time. I mean, every time I've ever done it, if somebody played the games, they've got, no matter what is up in their body or repeating pattern or life or finances, there is always a thought pattern that precedes and agrees with the limitation. And that thought pattern, belief system, genetic or experiential, is reversible.
And you can reverse that with the essence of plants. They don't hear themselves. They don't know how absolutely out there they sound.
Our greatest weakness doesn't just improve. It must become our greatest strength. Inside of every problem is the solution. Solution, interesting word.
Oh, solution. Okay, well that one isn't spelt that way, sir. It just sounds the same, I guess. Spelling of words, the way the words sound, that all is connected to our spiritual mind, I guess. Well, like, what are you trying to say? I don't get it, dude. It's so crazy.
Oh yeah, I have had bitterness going on. Or, oh, I have carried a burden, shoulder. Shoulder, fascinating word. And then the front side of the body, self, back side, others. Top of the hand, others, inside, whatever closes in, self. So the whole book, I put my whole Sacred Body Language translation completely redone inside the book, because the people are going to need those charts and all the other stuff, but really going through and naming anatomy, how to find what's going on and how to reverse it, and then symptom or signal, how to find out what's going on and how to reverse it, and then then Young Living, all the, again, singles, blends, and supplements, because I mean, for me, I already have everything. I mean, I got a lot of, I mean, everything. I've been in it in nutrition, etc. My life, my adult life. But there are all kinds of things I went, oh, I'm going to go get that. I'm going to go get that. I'm going to go get that, because I now realize what it was for, not what was wrong, but what strength it's going to restore. So anyway, yes, they're all in it.
But to restore something literally means to like bring it back to its previous state. So like, what if you were born with one kidney, right? I don't know. So then you have like kind of kidney function issues for your entire life because you were literally born without a second kidney. Are you saying that you can make yourself better? You can restore the function of the kidney you weren't even born with? What if you are born without a body part? What if you're born with one leg? Are you telling me that your essential oils and your mantras and speaking all these things into existence is going to restore that leg that you never had? No, but if you apply it in the other way of like, if you were born with a leg, if you were born with a leg, if you were born with two legs, and then one of the legs, I don't know, you threw out your knee or some shit, by applying essential oils and saying these mantras and like whatever this body language bullshit he's saying, you can then restore the function of your knee because it was that state previously? Or are we saying that there's a totally different definition of restore that I don't even understand? Like, it doesn't make sense. I hope you guys understand where I'm going with this, because like, he's using the word restore as like an opposite of treating symptoms or like curing, I guess. If something is broken, you don't fix it, you restore it. And it's like, what? I mean, fix and restore are two different words, and contextually the word restore doesn't really make sense in what he's trying to say. See, now I'm thinking too far into this. My conscious language or my body language is very confused right now.
I'm so happy about that. And again, my education, I might be helping a whole bunch of other people. I believe we will, because that's what our commitment, Juan and my commitment was. And for me, the blessing was for me. I literally, it's like, oh man, it's as if I was able to get a hold through Vaughn of a much deeper understanding of the magic or purpose or miracle in what he discovered when we all know his genius. So it's like, I got to have, it went from one color to 5 million colors, so to speak.
So Bob, you bring up like a really key point that I think is important that we should probably talk about some more. And that's that, you mentioned a couple things, and this is why I always love talking to you and learning from you, is it's that sort of integrated picture. And it's what we always talk about too. We've had amazing results using the oils. We've had amazing results through your teachings and other people's, but it's that integrated picture that's so important, because most people, right, that may be listening here, or most people in general tend to think, it's because they've been trained to think about addressing a symptom, right? As opposed to going to the root of the issue, right?
I mean, it's really not that though, right? Like, we all know that if you fix the root of the problem, your symptoms go away. Like, I mean, we all know that, right? It's just because what they're suggesting is that you can fix the root of the problem with essential oils, and you just can't. I mean, in most cases anyway. I'm not denying that essential oils have some practical uses here and there, but for the most part, especially in the way that these people are suggesting you use them, it's bullshit.
And in that context, you alluded to that before, right? That we're not addressing issues. It's not apply this to remove this or to fix this, right? That's a prescription sort of mindset. That's not the right.
I call it allopathic, this for that, this for that, yeah. This for that. Yep.
Yeah, that's not the right way. It's going to the actual root of the problem. I've told people this before, with regard to the oils, and a lot of our story is, actually that's the way that that prescription model is the way people start sometimes, but then they begin to realize that, oh my gosh, that thing is not happening anymore, right? Because it's not just addressing the symptom, it's going after the root of the problem. But in the context of the other, like the unconscious language and the things you talked about, right? So we're, I'm like a bigger picture person, and I'm always thinking about, we're talking about things that are seen, that people can see, and we're talking about things that you can't see, like things that are in the unseen, realm. And interesting, there's sort of see if you think about this the same way, there's an order. Did we lose him?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to come back on.
Bye bye. This guy's like passionately like speaking to his hero, his Lord and Savior. And he just disappears. Bye bye. Get some essential oils to fix your internet connection, bud. There he is.
You're back.
There's Bobby boy.
I'm back.
Sorry, my
Keep
camera
going.
stopped
So
recording
we
for
were
a
talking
sec.
about the whole the root, addressing the root rather than the symptoms. And again, this whole idea of like the symptoms are something you can see, but the root is more something that's unseen, right? And that whole idea, if you could just talk about that even a little bit more on that integrated approach, you know, that is this have to be addressed like in a structured way? Like there's a certain foundational thing that's because people sometimes wonder like why they can't heal from something. Well, but there may be some steps that are required. And
could it be because you're trying to heal from something using essential oils and not like actual scientifically proven methods? Could that be the issue?
Is there actually like a sequence to those steps? Can
Always,
sometimes
yes.
be
Yep.
out of
That's
order,
the whole
or
book.
do they-
The whole book addresses that. The whole book. So if I can give it to you in a nutshell. First of all, I agree with everything you said on that. I would say get to the root of the problem. I wouldn't say it that way because then you're going to call it a problem. I would say get to the cause versus the problem. The minute we say problem, like in school, well, we're going to do these problems today. Obviously it's a bit of a problem. So I mean, exercise is different than the problem. I've got a little blemish. Anyway, so again,
Okay, like it's extremely clear how this guy's mind works, right? Every time he says a word, he tries to connect it back to something on your body. Problem is a blemish is a problem. But then he's like, what is the cause of the blemish? You know, he probably has essential oils for blemishes. So is it not a problem then? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say, but I'm also like really confused and my brain just like is not working. Everything feels really jumbled and mushed together.
I'm going to mess with those kinds of words. And yeah, so let's get to the cause. So the way, simply put, there's either love or less than love. So anything less than love produces I'm going to say a reaction. There's only one action, it's love. Anything less than love is a reaction. A reaction produces cause and effect or karma or whatever somebody like to call it. We are here to love, bottom line.
What the fuck?
So whatever's going on, and if you say, I wonder why I can't heal. They can't heal because they wonder why they can't heal.
If you question it even for a second, it's going to stop working. Is that pretty much what he's saying? If you wonder why you can't heal, that's why you can't heal. So you have to just trust it blindly. Scientifically, it is not proven that this kind of stuff does what these people say it does. Yeah, they're not healing because it doesn't work. So you're just trying to convince people to continue trying to heal themselves with a process that does not work, will not work. I mean, it's dangerous, right? And the crazy thing is too, is this whole thing, you know, maybe I missed it, but I don't think that he has really made any actual health claims yet. Where I'm like, we need to report this video to the FTC or the FDA or whoever, Truth in Advertising and stuff. Well, maybe Tina, yeah. Because he's basically saying that Young Living essential oils can align your chakras or whatever the fuck. And I don't know how necessarily important Tina thinks that kind of stuff is, but regardless, yeah, he's not sitting here like making wild outlandish claims about curing this ailment or that ailment. He's just speaking a bunch of nonsense, and meanwhile a bunch of people are probably watching this taking notes like, yep, this makes sense. It's like, no, it doesn't.
People, I can't heal what's wrong because no one can heal what's wrong. That's in the thinking. That's in the Babel virus. No, you don't heal what's wrong. You heal into the restored state of something. You get, so again, and the whole book is bam, about how to restructure the way we approach everything. So first of all, do you get that, Tony? Does that change?
This is why I always love talking with you, and I know you're gonna enlighten my words at some point, and I love it, Bob.
Good. And forgive me ahead of time, but I mean, you know, it's not a right, wrong thing. So imagine if we taught our children not to like have problems that we're going to imagine if we taught them how to get strong and understanding how to do this. God, I mean, I really believe like that homeschool that's going on right now, there's a reason, because the trajectory of our planet was way off course, most likely, That's why everybody got to stay home and put a mask on. Hello, or whatever. I don't know.
No one stayed home and put masks on while they were home. It was basically either stay home, and if you need to go out, then put a mask on. I mean, it's still like that. What are you talking about, sir? He's trying to be like, oh yeah, the reason that people have to homeschool their kids now and take them out of public schools because public schools are teaching bad things. They're teaching facts. They're teaching history. So the state of the world right now, the C word that's going on right now, the reason it happened is to get people out of schools so that these kind of people can teach their kids the real way of the world. Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. That sounds really responsible.
What's the step is, if everybody can just slow down saying, all right, I don't need to fix what's wrong. My job is to find out what my being is asking me to change. No matter what it is, in health challenges, financial, relationship, global, obviously the global challenge, I'm not going to be necessarily the one to go, well, basically, and yet I can help all of us say, look, do we believe in something coming to attack us? We've been making movies about this forever. Let's not make movies about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make, in other words, what you put your attention upon, that ye become. That's a law.
So ignorance is bliss is basically what you're saying. If you don't think about it, then it doesn't exist. If we don't think about how so many people in the world are starving every single day, then it doesn't exist. Those people aren't actually suffering unless we start thinking about them suffering, right? What is he trying to say? I don't like it. And I know a lot of people live by the whole ignorance is bliss thing. Like, if I don't think about it, I'm happier. And I get that. Like, I have some things about that in my life too, but like, you can't just ignore serious issues in the world. Let's stop making movies about that. If we stop making movies about it, it won't happen. I don't think that's how it works, pal. Famine and, I don't know, natural disasters and stuff have been happening long before we had movies. Oh, well, then you could say, well, stop writing books about it. You know, I don't know. I just think where this is going is just like everything he's saying, a moot point, or some point that he definitely made up in his brain and now he thinks is the truth. Does he think he's some kind of prophet or some shit? He must.
Yeah, scriptural, but I don't use it like right, wrong, you know, you're going to hell or not. If you, well, no. Again, if I'm driving a car and I look off to the side of the road, I'm going to start going that way. Yes, you keep your attention on what you choose. So if everyone realizes,
I mean, it doesn't work that way either, dude. Like, if you look over your shoulder to make sure that it's safe to change lanes, you're not going to automatically, your car's not going to also change the direction. The world just doesn't work the way he thinks it does.
that wherever they are is not who they are. I want to say it again, wherever they are is not who they are.
Yeah, and that's perfect, because that's where I was going, and you led right there. Is one of the things we always talk about is the foundation of a lot of these things, of this restoring, is identity.
Yeah. And even with permission, ident-I-T. Well, that when the I becomes dented is identity. So I look at, I ask many people, can you get closer to God? Well, yeah, I'm working on it. No.
Ident-I-T. When your eye gets dented. Listen, I have keratoconus in my right eye, and like, I've seen the mapping of my cornea. What it is that my cornea is thinned in one part, so like it's not spherical anymore. It's like pointed because there's part of it that isn't round anymore. It's like thinned out. But like, I guess in a way it looks like it's dented, right? So is that what happened? That's all I needed to do was just be like, I don't know, treating my keratoconus with essential oils and I would have been fine. No eye drops for you, honey. Just put some frankincense in your eyeball. Like, what do you want me to do? My eye is dented, so my identity is, I don't know. Oh my god, why? Like, it bothers me so much that he makes these sort of connections. They're so illogical. And could he say the same thing for other languages? Like, how come English is the end all be all when it comes to that?
You can't really, because God in you, God built you. How can you get closer to?
Okay, the accents need to stop. What the fuck? What the fuck? This guy is just a menace to society. Fucking horrible person. Like, goddamn.
What you am. You get it? But that's the operating system of the Babel virus. We had better confuse their language, for there is not anything like, well, what does that mean? Zephaniah 3:9 says, I am that I am will return to you, perception of separation. I am that I am will return to the separate self, pure speech. And one translation goes on to say, where, when, where, right here, when, right now, you call upon the name of I am, or the Lord, or whatever it is, and it shall be done. That's where we are. We're at the point right now, Dr. Charnel, I can and I am. Say it again. I can and I am. Everybody say that. I can and I am. Say it again. I can and I am. All of a sudden her body went from having all this.
Bye-bye.
He'll be back again. He lives out in the boondocks.
Someone really needs to get him an essential oil for that.
It's great, that whole thing. Like what reminds me of as he's talking about that is like our whole, because we had that experience too. The healing, about the right here, right now.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that is so true.
Right.
Hi, Bob.
I mean, if I'm sitting there going, just be loving.
It's all love.
Yeah, I know. And at least last time I locked up when I won't even go there. I was able to get back in much quicker this time. So whatever's up, it's like, please God, thank you for helping me. Anyway.
Sorry, we didn't talk without you.
And I'll tell you, so what we were talking about while you were out just for a second.
Well, I was away on vacation. Yeah.
What we were commenting on was it was perfect what you were talking about, because we've had that own personal experience with that. Whereas there was a time when we felt, and Colette was suffering from some significant things over a long period of time, some chronic kind of issues. And what was able to restore her was that phrase, and you almost said it, it was right here, right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I got duckies. I mean, I call it energy, whatever. And the point is that our Creator is right here, right now. Like Scripture, it says, before you have asked, I have answered. Ooh, quantum physics. The moment we're aware of something, it's in our field, F-I-E-L-D, or phonetically F-E-E-L-E-D, like feeling.
Oh my God. Okay, this is another example of like, doesn't matter how it's spelled. Now this time it just sounds like the word feel. So what is this?
So again, if everybody goes, look, if somebody wants money, you take it into wealth. They want money. They're saying, universe, I desire it without ever having it. And Scripture says, the law is my shepherd, I shall not want. Okay. So we came here to own that every word we speak is already done. Before you have asked, I have answered. Wow. And we have to ask. Like Charnel went from doing everything for months, everything right, but she hadn't walked I can and I am. Mm-hmm. The book is all about how to state what's returned, and the word becomes flesh. Decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. So to me, the whole thing that we're about now is, what do we choose? Choose it, claim it, and then imagine from it. Scripture says it this way. It says, ask. When you pray, it says, when you pray, ask, call, imagine. When you pray, ask, believing, ye receive, and ye receive. I used to think believing was a mental attitude. The word believe means to be alive in. And the way to do that is to feel the me self, the meaning in each word deeply enough. So again, for me, our book coming out, is all about using these various steps to have that person mean what they say, and in other words, whatever's up, love it. If you hate it, you're going to have more of it. If you resist it, it's going to become your prison. So whatever's up, whether it's an issue, problem.
He looks pissed.
To find out what you're all talking about when I'm not here, when I'm on a short vacation.
We were talking about how you're here. You
wouldn't see this.
This is so funny. I'm laughing at this point. It's like, that's pretty funny. So anyway, I love that. I don't know how to put this. I appreciate where you are and what I hear from you. Got it? I mean, it seems like we're all close to this. I'm just been building the exact. I mean, every decree that I put in here has worked.
Maybe you should decree some faster internet, dude. I think after this one, you're going to have to put that into your decrees, because, I mean, that's a problem.
Everyone has worked. And, it's not just theoretical, conceptual, like with Charnel, when she had that issue. I knew right away it was going to work because it works. And so she was like, yeah, whatever. And she's in the game. So this is where it's imperative we have teams ready to help each other, to somebody can have their issue up and somebody else can guide them, because the body will tell all kinds of stuff. Like somebody reaches back here, they're going, oh, I'm relieving fight or flight into thriving. And if they, like a blessing that's bestowed, like, ask and you shall receive. That's always instantaneous. There's no delay for spirit. Never, ever. So if I say, please God, give me, thank you, that's a prayer. Please give me as a petition or beg, it's not a prayer. Please and thank you. The minute we say thank you and mean it, it was delivered. It's delivered in the invisible. And to get it from the unseen into the seen, we have to walk in faith. I walk by faith, not by needing to see it.
Is that why God doesn't answer everybody's prayers? Because they don't say please and thank you? Like, it's like, you're not polite enough, so no. Try again later.
So the whole book is all about, all right, I am this, I have that, and now that I have it, what's new and different? And it's the steps of these things to basically go through the open door that no man can shut into our victorious life. But it's not going to be improving. It's not going to be getting over what's wrong. It's going to be restoring something glorious in our life. It's funny, I can realize I'm speaking short, going, I wonder how long I get this time.
You stay. Say I stay.
I stay. And my screen stays colorful and moving, and yes, awesome. I love it.
I really appreciate how in the book you give, like, your book is not a lot of talk, blah, blah, blah theory. Your book is very practical. It's almost written in bullet points, and your conscious language book is the same thing. So I say to
everything we've heard so far is not practical. Everything we've heard so far, like, is a bunch of mumbo jumbo and none of it makes sense. But maybe I'm just not opening my mind enough.
Don't worry, you don't have to become an expert in this thing. Open a book and read a page, right? I used to say it this way, now I say it this way. And this book really pulls together, I think, all of your resources. So I have a book on conscious language. I have sacred body translations. I have all the feeling CDs. From what I gathered, you really pulled together all of this in a very step-by-step fashion, so you can implement it without.
Yep. And get right to it. I mean, that's another one. Having been through a life challenge with my partner, I'm going, I know what this feels like. Somebody, I'm not going to give you a bunch of fluff, but right here, get that, work it. And let's, move right through it. I mean, come on. I mean, what Gary passed from, what my wife passed from is translatable. Not that that wasn't meant to happen, but it's translatable. And that's tough stuff. I'm going, that's one. Why did I do it? Because we deserve it.
Okay, so his wife passed away, and he's kind of like attributing it to himself, like almost making it like his wife's death is meant to happen to him, The wife didn't have a choice in the matter. But why not? If you can literally just speak affirmations to yourself over and over again, and ask and you shall receive, and manifest, essentially, then why did she still presumably pass away at a time that was probably inconvenient for them? Because, he's an older guy, and I obviously don't know who his wife was, but I would assume that she was on the younger side when it comes to, like, she didn't die because she was old. I don't need to go into his personal life or anything, but, like, if you're so sure that your life can turn out the way you want it to just by speaking affirmations and what have you, then where's your wife, Like, I hate to do that shit. He just kind of got done saying that, like, his wife's death was meant to happen to him. What about your wife? What an odd and selfish way to think about things. Other people are working for you, is kind of how it seems.
We'll be back. He stays with us. He always says to me, like, when I'm trying to avoid an emotion, he says to me, Colette, say I stay. Yeah, I highly recommend doing coaching with him. I've done the bio-optic eye thing with him.
I kept my video off just in case that's going to make a difference, So, like, who knows? But anyway, so there's a number of, here's how this works by people telling their story. And Charnel's is in there, by the way. So, we actually recorded it and then we transcribed it just because it was easier than her typing it for her schedule. So but there's some amazing, what I love about it is, like you said, you don't have to, you can find something very quickly and begin the metamorphosis or the transformation of what it potentially is and what strength is returning. And I really love the idea that, all right, I don't have to fight what's wrong, no matter what modality. And I'm always going to say, use the best. There's a series of steps to go through. And the reason I use Young Living in it, because the Young Living, again, will like if anybody gets an oil out, that oil is moving up. I'm talking with the hands as if you guys can see me, it's pretty funny. But anyway, that oil is moving up, 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 up. And I'm saying to everyone, keep following that raising of every oil or blend or whatever it is into what it's actually, that sunlight is raising us back to some version of sunlight. And so it has changed. Again, I learned that in the book, the portion in there right before the Young Living section by Marian Jager, I go through and share what I learned. It is absolutely phenomenal. At 20 some years old, what I got about essential oils and what I've been using all that time.
So what do you recommend? One question I get a lot is, right, this has, a lot of what you're talking about has to do with connecting the thought and the belief with the feeling. Like you can't skip the feeling step. And so I get that a lot where folks say, well, how do I feel the feeling? Like, how do I connect that? Like, what would you recommend for that?
Well, so first of all, I would have everybody go, the feeling, and I would have them say the feeling, and then say my feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it feels, I feel. The money, my money. So we're going to go from disassociated, this, that, these, them, they, those, it, the, and into personal, my, our. So that's the first one. And second of all, a lot of people choose to know what they feel. You can't know what you feel. You know, that's the whole crux to this Babel virus is right, wrong, right, wrong. There's no right or wrong to anything. I mean, I'm not saying do crazy stuff. I'm simply saying love. I'd rather create with love than be right. Any parent most likely at some point goes, look, I'm either going to have my kid or I'm going to be right, one or the other. In other words, love is way more important than being right. So how do I help people feel? The language itself. I feel. I give myself permission to feel. And again, most people, I don't feel. Well, yes, you do. How do you feel that you don't feel? Well, pissed or angry or, well, then you have an energy that you can feel. So most people just have to go from it to I, or the to my. And again, that's where languaging is still connecting versus disassociated.
Do you want to share your book quickly? Do you want me to share this?
Well, that's my concern is I have a feeling it won't show because of whatever's up with this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been doing all kinds of research on why, because I've only done like 600 Zooms very effectively. Some are 2.5 hours long. And this just started with an update that my operating system did. And I have a feeling they're going, we don't know yet. But anyway, so at some point, I'm happy to do that. And at this point, look, I think we've been on longer than any time by my video being off. So it'd probably be good not to share at this point. And what's in it is we've gone from 150 pages to almost 300 now. And we've rebuilt the entire, you've seen it, the entire Sacred Body Language translation. And biooptical holography, that's another piece of the puzzle that everyone's path, their mission in life shows up in their eyes. And so it's not iridology because that's right, wrong, what's wrong with you, what's not, what's working, what's not, where I started 50 some years ago. Mm-hmm. This is all about actually the eye, like our body language, tells everybody what's up for us, where we are, and what our mission in life is. And the moment we change a belief, feel the meaning in each word, the fibers in our eyes change.
Could you imagine like staring this guy, like look at his picture right now and stare deeply into his eyes? Could you imagine? Like that makes it sound like that's what he does, like to read people essentially, just like look at their eyes. How creepy. I don't want to make eye contact with this guy, let alone let him stare deeply into my eyes to try to figure out what kind of life mission I have or whatever the hell, to see what the fibers in my eyes are doing. Like, I don't like it.
And what I love about the whole system, and yeah, it's nice to have somebody who's in the system to help you, but somebody can pick it up and start wherever they are and start moving upscale.
Folks are asking, when is the book going to be released?
Notice that soon. That's all I've been saying lately. And we have someone who may be writing the forward to it and changing Vaughn out from the forward to, because hers is really an intro, as one of the co-authors of the Young Living portion.
Who could that
And
be?
we have a new person, which I'm going to leave it at that. who may be writing the forward and la, 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 la. I won't say anything about that, but that person is reading the book. Well, just because we'll see. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, but I'm not going to confirm, only it's my highest choice. I'll put it that way. And it's definitely my highest choice, and I'll leave it at that. So
awesome.
So Mary Young.
Yeah. So Amy, yes, there are lots of stories in here.
A lot. Yes.
She said, do you have a way to get pictures of our eyes to you for your coaching to do the remote readings?
Well, yes, it depends on where they live, and we can let people know where our team who have our bio-opticalography cameras are.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay,
Yep.
great.
And we have probably 30 people out there that have our camera right now. That, let's just say that if I could have anything, everyone like commits to something. It's an eye photo. Like right now we're doing a 10-day training, and I will do it before everybody comes in, before we do anything. We take a photo, and then at the end, photo, and then I do a session and show them the changes that have happened.
Whoa, I would love to do that, just because I'm obviously a super non-believer when it comes to everything that he's saying. I'd be fascinated to like see it before and after, because I mean, listen, I guarantee there wouldn't be any changes. He'd try to tell me there were changes. Could it be the lighting? I don't know. I was just Googling like biopic or whatever the fuck he was saying, eye cameras. It wasn't coming up with anything like where you can get this kind of like photography of your eyeball done. Like, I don't know.
And I mean, when some people see what's available in the transformation of the structure of our eye, sclera, pupil, whatever, all that stuff together, it's a confirmation of the metamorphosis they've been through. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. In fact, I love Zoom when it's freaking working, excuse me, but so I can see 49 people at one time.
He was like, excuse me. He said frickin'. Even though meanwhile at the beginning of this, he was like, and bare ass. Okay, so you can say that, but God forbid you say freaking.
And normally in a circle, which is frequently the way I share, if I'm looking to my right, I can't see what's going on to my left. Well, here I can see everybody all at once. And so somebody digging and scratching, I go, and always we can talk about that. It's really fun. Really, really fun.
Are you doing? Go ahead.
So I was going to say, so that's a great visualization I just got, Bob. So how do you if you're on a Zoom with 30 people, how do you keep yourself from like trying to monitor and analyze everything everyone's doing like at one time?
Well, the key phrase is trying to, sorry, I'm messing. And I don't even want to talk about analyze, because it also can be spoken in another way. So
anal eyes.
I just let my God show me whatever's up, and I learned about reading eyes. I just let the eye talk to me. And again, I'm not looking at it right and wrong. I'm waiting. People are telling stories. They're going, yo, over here, over here, over here. So I really honestly see, people have an issue like whatever. It could be lack, could be physical, mental, emotional. I don't see it the same way as a problem. I see it as a strength knocking on the door, waiting for permission to happen. And I mean, I'm not just doing that to be positive. That's a fact for me now. Our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. So I see strengths and strengths becoming. So when I see someone, I don't just read it and hold it. I say something. Otherwise, I'd rather be fully present and vote victory and see perfection, not translate any of that. So, but again, I love that I can see 49 people at one time, because it's very fun.
Right, and that's neat that obviously it's your highest choice to be with them in person, but do you feel like it's just as effective? You're noticing the same things when you're doing it? I'll finish that when he comes back.
Guess the camera thing didn't work, huh, bud? Might as well turn it back on, huh, Bobby?
Just as effective. I'm still laughing. It's actually more effective, because more effective. And I mean that with all sincerity and gratitude to God, really. I've been able to be with so many more people in this year, basically, because travel, all the other stuff. I mean, I'm doing extraordinarily deep dive training with people that I wouldn't have had a way to do before.
Right.
So, I mean, my coaches, in-house coaches, I've been able to give them what would have normally been 1,000 times more expensive, because we can do it right from home, an hour and a half of deep interaction and personal experience. Plus the Zoom continues to stay on, which is very nice.
I don't want any fucking deep or personal interactions with this man. I just like the idea of it makes me all like, ugh. But I guess some people do, and that's weird.
Anyway, so I can continue to do that with him. So I actually, at this stage, I'm going, this is, for me, worldwide. I can work with people all over the world at the same time. So I still love being with people. And for right now, to give the basics to people, have them become masterful before we're together, that's available now and happening.
Folks will love your book, and then some folks will want more. A lot of folks will want more.
Yeah, and especially now.
Especially now, I'm gonna go bye-bye. For the last time, hopefully, there's 2 minutes left. They're just talking about his coaching programs now, so I'm just gonna end it here. I don't think we need to see any more of that. So that was interesting. I have the book pulled up here. Like I was saying earlier, you know, if you want to hear a lot more about this in an ASMR format, I guess, or in a low-toned, low-energy speaking format, links to my new ASMR channel are down below, because I actually haven't read this yet. I do want to read the foreword by Mary Young, which is here, just so we can get an idea of how much she has endorsed this. Because, you know, even though is this just this guy, this Royal Crown Diamond, distributing this, the fact that the CEO is so tied into this to the point where she wrote the foreword is really concerning. So anyway, foreword. Mary Young, co-founder and CEO of Young Living Essential Oils. My word made flesh has caused me to deeply ponder the meaning of words. Yeah, I'm sure they have, because this dude seems to be really great at making people think about words. And I found myself in deep introspection as I began to put the understanding of those words into my reality. Words are very powerful tools that we use every day to communicate with each other. Really? Thank you. Thank you for the definition of what a fucking word is, Mary. I would have never known otherwise. Whether through writing, speaking, or thinking, the words we use create a positive or negative energy that can dramatically affect the outcome of our lives and those with whom we communicate. Words such as exciting, motivating, inspiring, and uplifting are words that can keep us on the path to fulfill our dreams. Other words like gentle, kind, thoughtful, and spiritual fill our hearts with joy and a desire to help others as we connect with our inner self. Hurtful words like incompetent, ugly, clumsy, dense, and stupid pull our souls down into a place of negativity and defeat. Yet words like forgiveness, understanding, acceptance, and love bring peace, relief, reassurance, and most of all, a feeling of being able to move forward in a positive and progressive way. Oh, okay, you want to talk about what's fucking progressive, Mary Young, my ass. This is a time of transformation, not only for our world, but especially for all of us who love Young Living and are part of its great mission. Yeah, the transformation you guys are going through is that you guys are operating at a freaking loss and hopefully won't exist much longer. Anyway, the word transformation projects change, but what kind of change? And how will that change come about? I don't know, with like forced closure because you can't keep your doors open financially? Without a plan or a specific path to follow, finding the answers to this question would be very difficult. What you're about to read is a plan with the steps that can get you on the path to achieve the transformation you desire. D. Gary Young, notice that she doesn't even call him doctor, my husband of 24 years, often spoke about physical and emotional healing that can be achieved through the power of the words we choose to use in our lives. Gary gave meaningful names to nearly all of the products he formulated to help the user recognize the value, emotion, or beneficial energy that he knew was within his formulations. Gary knew that by speaking a product's name, the energy of those words was put into motion to help bring the beliefs of those products into reality. Fucking what? Gary often made statements about things that he was going to do or things that were going to happen in Young Living that seemed ridiculous to me. When I asked him why he said such things, he would look at me with the knowing that he had, a smile on his face, and say, I'm putting the energy in motion to bring these things into a physical state. That was the beginning of a new way of thinking for me. As a healer, Gary knew the power of positive thinking and speaking. When he was 24 years old, he suffered a life-threatening accident and was told he would be confined to a wheelchair for life. He chose not to accept the prognosis and instead began to explore natural healing modalities that would take him down his destined path to walk again. Then how come people can't, for example, people who are on a ventilator with the C word, how come those people can't manifest themselves off of the ventilator? If Gary Young can decide not to accept his prognosis and reverse it just using manifestation, I guess, and I don't know, essential oils. How come people can't do that when they are also experiencing life-threatening situations, you know? Like literally being put on life support. What makes Gary so fucking special? Which, by the way, he died when he was like in his early 60s, I think? Way too early for someone who is worth praising to this extent because of his knowledge and discoveries about life. Anyway, Gary became a walking miracle, and the message that he shared about believing in yourself gave hope to millions of people around the world. Gary's research and discovery of essential oils, along with the nutritional supplements that he formulated and infused with essential oils, laid the foundation that ultimately brought Young Living essential oils into existence. I cannot count the number of times I heard Gary say that the most physical ailments and impairments begin in the emotional recesses of the mind. I'm pretty sure physical ailments don't start in your brain. If you break your leg, you break your leg. Like what? Which is also where the foundation of physical and emotional healing begins, by projecting a positive attitude with the words we speak and the nutrition we put into our bodies. Projecting positivity requires discipline and time spent standing in front of the mirror and looking deep into your soul for the answers to those questions that have kept you stuck and unable to move forward. Gary's beliefs were based on his relationship with God that formulated as a child growing up in the mountains, unexposed to the tinsel of the world. Living in poverty, his family was dependent on the animals and what Mother Nature provided for survival, which gave Gary a deep respect for God's creations. Young Living was built on the godly principles of love, integrity, caring, selflessness, and a mission to take the knowledge of Mother Nature's healing to the world. Oh, principles of caring. Is that why his fucking baby died? Shit. The plants carry the essence of God. And the essential oils within them because they are created by God. If you believe in creationism, like, wouldn't you say everything was created by God? So, I mean, to be fair, you could say that, like, fucking Satan was created by God, you know? That's an amazing thought that can take us on an even deeper journey of self-discovery. That's why it's so critical to have only that natural essence for the benefits that one is seeking. There may be perceived benefits from adulterated or synthetic essential oils, which, you know, if you watched my last video about Young Living, I briefly brought up a point in time where Young Living was found to be cutting their oils with synthetics, so she's talking about this like they would never do that. But no, we have like proof that they fucking did that anyway. But what are the long-term side effects of using inferior quality and adulterated oils? I don't know, Mary, you fucking tell me. Why take a chance? Gary's own healing was dependent upon the beliefs he discovered from what Mother Nature offered, a discovery that he knew belonged to humanity, to serve God's children. Robert Tennyson Stevens has given us a gift of his knowledge of words and how they connect to emotions that affects the many functions of the human body. Marcella von Harding, who co-authored this book, which is that doctor we talked about earlier, has vast knowledge of the Young Living products taught to her by Gary and learned through her own life experiences. Robert and Marcella have spent an immense amount of time together researching the information presented in this book. Researching what? Like asking the oils questions and waiting for them to tell you themselves? Like, I don't what is this research? Just putting words together and seeing what other words stem from them because they sound the same or are spelt the same? Like, is that your idea of research? That seems to be his idea of how this shit works. Anyway, and their combined knowledge gives us the tools and the steps to help us transform our lives. It is one thing to discover how emotions lead to physical ailments, but it's something else entirely to discover a way to change emotions. My Word Made Flesh gives us a completely new way of looking at resolving issues caused by negative emotions. I'm so grateful that Robert and Marcella wrote this most unique book, unique is putting it lightly, to help us understand our emotions and realize that we have the ability within ourselves to put the words of transformation into action. It's fascinating to learn how we can use words of affirmation and positivity with our Young Living essential oils and supplements to help us go forward, and knowing that we can achieve our heart's desire and not only change our own lives, but also the lives of those with whom we communicate. May your words become the flesh of your reality as you reach your highest potential and achieve your divine destiny. Mary Young, co-founder and CEO of Young Living essential oils. Wow. I mean, if that ain't an endorsement, I don't know what is. Anyway, guys, we've been here long enough. I'm gonna put an end to this video now, but holy shit, that was a lot. Anyway, guys, let's thank my patrons and my members now. The people I'm about to read off to you guys are the people who are supporting me financially on either Patreon or my YouTube membership program. So they get access to our private Discord server. We have a postcard club. Sometimes I give you guys early access to videos when I'm able to, and lots of other stuff. So if any of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/Savannah Anna Marie, or you can click the join button beneath this video, whatever works for you. And with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Hula Chowdown, Janelle Pratt, Cecilia Dudek, Christy Taylor, Elizabeth Wyatt, Nitty Dragon, Kutch Squad 2.0, Leanne, Molly Wasilewski, Raya Mute, Sheila Tapia, Tiff C, Turd Ferguson, hashtag Get the W, Weatherington Law, Alice W, Amy Huffman, April Lindblom, Boris Geller, Casey Scraper, Katrina Rosemerick, Claire T, Danae, Daniel Urena, E. Higgins, Eric Laudercratic, Jerry Duncan, Hanimal Crossing, Heidi Ha, Hippie Kansas Girl, Julia Wheeler, Kim Cartwright, Critter, Maddie Darley, Marley Fletcher, Nah, Not Today, Princess Deathwish, Ray, Samantha Jackson, Stephanie Hell, Tuesday the 13th, Colin F, Laura Nickel, Jess Kronfeld, Emion, Ian Schrouth, Jennifer Dyer, Jessica Cecil, Caroline H, Auntie Lou, Krista Scantlin, Lizzie's Plantasy, and Fallon Lowry. To the rest of my fantastic supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you. Even if you're not supporting me financially, still thank you for making it to the end of this long video. And again, I'm gonna leave all the links down below if you want to try to report any of this. Again, I don't really know how that would work in this general way here, just because there weren't really many specific health claims. Either way, all that's gonna be down below if you feel so inclined to start reporting it to places. Keep making waves, babes. I'll smell you all later. Mommy Tsunami, out.